Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. It's now time for our English edition, weekdays at 6 p.m. Two of Albania's former presidents, Alfred Moisiu and Bamir Topi, have shared the opinion that the constitutional changes should include the election of the president. They believe that the president should be elected by popular vote, which they think would increase his authority and limit any political influence over him. When asked whether the powers of the president should be increased, Mr. Topi supported the idea of strengthening the parliament, not the president. On his part, Mr. Moisiu felt that the competences of the president should remain as they are. He spoke about a coming poll that will ask the citizens what they think and whether they support the idea of electing the president through a popular vote. According to him, a significant number of dignitaries and civil organizations already support this idea. He said that the political class is the only group that does not want the president to be elected by the people, because the parties want to be able to control him. The state Supreme Audit has filed charges against the director and 5 other employees of the road authority. Several violations were discovered in a recent audit covering the time period between January of 2014 and September of 2015. The SSA has revealed that these violations caused financial damage to the state in the amount of €4.5 million. According to the SSA, the violations primarily had to do with a lack of supervision during road infrastructure projects. The audit also reveals that the road authority lacked the policies to realize the projects and that they did not actually possess the funds that were set aside on the books for project completion. The State Supreme Audit also noticed a deliberate favoring of certain companies when issuing road construction contracts. The SSA has addressed its findings to the chairman of the Council of Ministers, asking for the dismissal of the director of the road authority for a violation of the legal provisions. Lawyers all around Albania have begun their second boycott of the country's court sessions as a sign of protest against the government's decision to increase health and insurance contributions. The chairman of lawyers, the Chamber of Lawyers, has sent a request to the Constitutional Court for the law to be repealed and warned that they will extend their boycotts if their demands are not met. The head of the chamber has declared that the boycott might last for several months before the issue is resolved. He announced, "Our boycott can last for weeks or months, just like what happened in Serbia. So far, we have not received an answer from the government. The General Council of the Chamber of Lawyers, which is the highest decision-making institution of the National Chamber, will be gathering shortly. The Council will make a decision on the progress of our stance on this issue," he said. The head of the chamber clarified that their decision to boycott the court sessions is because the government has not responded to their requests. Meanwhile, representatives of the National Chamber of Lawyers will be meeting with the Minister of Justice in the coming days. The Democratic Party will be sending a request to the Constitutional Court to remove the mandate of the Socialist MP, Kokedhima. A recent ruling has obligated the Assembly to send the case before the Constitutional Court. In the statement, the court highlights that it is the only institution that has the competence to review the case and make a decision about the compatibility of Kokedhima's mandate. The court issued this ruling after the Council of Mandates initially rejected the request, refusing to allow the issue to be sent before the court. The Democratic Party is accusing Mr. Kokedhima of violating the Constitution in at least 100 cases, illegally benefiting from the public funds. The decision will pave the way for a number of other democratic requests, including the review of the mandates of the MPs Leskaj and Suli. The Democrats say that they have illegally benefited from public funds as well. The party is also expected to propose new amendments to the law on conflict of interest. The European Parliament has encouraged the Albanian political class to find the path of dialogue and to avoid boycotts of the parliament. The European Parliament member and rapporteur for Albania held a meeting today with the Minister of Interior, Samir Tahiri. Mr. Fleckenstein asked him to report on the issue of Armando Prenga, the MP who returned to the parliament after being jailed for assault. Mr. Fleckenstein made this comment. I asked Minister Tahiri about the issue of Mr. Prenga because this is an issue that was addressed to us. We agreed that the parties must continue with their dialogue on decriminalization. We are concerned that the decriminalization law is not being implemented. I hope that there is not a boycott of the parliament, but rather dialogue between the parties. Mr. Tahiri was also questioned about the case of Armando Prenga, and he said, the Socialist Party, the government, and the majority have taken the necessary political action for this case. The problem does not have to do with specific names, but with the will to adopt the bylaws. For this reason, the opposition has been encouraged to adopt the bylaws as quickly as possible in order to make the implementation of the law effective. Mr. Fleckenstein also announced that Minister Tahiri's report will be reflected in the draft resolution for Albania. Mr. Tahiri expressed appreciation for the support of the EU reps in the reforms the government has undertaken. Prime Minister Rama was in Fier today to observe the situation after the recent floods. He was accompanied by the U.S. Ambassador Lu, the Minister of Agriculture, and representatives of U.S. aid. Rama announced that U.S. aid will be providing financial assistance for the damage caused by the floods and that the government has already calculated the amounts to be compensated. Ambassador Lu felt that the situation in Fier has improved since the floods. He encouraged the municipality to make more investments in agriculture. After this flood, I did not think that the situation would improve so much, he said. $150 million have been invested all around Albania in cooperation with the international partners. Under the new territorial division, the municipalities need to invest more in irrigation and drainage, said Ambassador Lu. Prime Minister Rama spoke to some of the strawberry farmers in the area, and they appealed for the removal of the excise tax on packaging strawberries. He also inspected the repairs in the Janica riverbed. The Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta is currently on an official visit to Denmark, holding meetings with the government officials. Mr. Meta highlighted the reformation of the justice system, which, according to him, will create a more favorable business climate, strengthen the fight against corruption and organized crime, and attract foreign investors. He met with the Speaker of the Danish Parliament to discuss bilateral relations, the development of the Balkans, and European integration. He expressed Albania's readiness to welcome more Danish companies, saying that they bring expertise and advanced technology. While talking about the latest developments in the Balkan region, the Danish Parliament Speaker praised Albania's role in maintaining good neighborly relations. She stressed the importance of advancing the necessary reforms in all the Balkan countries. Regarding the immigration crisis, Meta emphasized that the European Union should treat it as a common challenge for all the member states, together with the Balkan countries that are being used as transit points. They shared the conviction that the challenges of terrorism, organized crime, and illegal trafficking are common threats to all societies. During his stay in Copenhagen, the Assembly Speaker met with the chairman of the parliamentary group of the Social Democratic Party and the Ombudsman of Denmark. That's the end of our edition for this evening. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with more translated news. Have a great night.